Welcome, welcome, welcome to Nathan's World. The book that we're going to be talking about today is called I Am Number 4. It's a great book, and I'd recommend everyone to go out and read it because it's got people with powers in it, and people with powers are great. First, we're going to talk about the plot of this book. I Am Number 4. John Smith is the main character, but his name is not really John Smith. John Smith is an alien from a planet called Lorien. Lorien has been attacked by the evil group in this book known as the Mogadorians. They want to hunt and kill John. I think it's funny that his name is John Smith. He adopted this name because it's like the most basic American name ever. John Smith. He chose this name to blend in with people so he won't be picked out. John is number 4 and 9 that they say in this book, but there's actually 10, but that's on the low though. They must kill them in order. 1, 2, and 3 are already dead, and John is number 4. Thus begins our book. John Smith has been on a run since he was 4 years old from the Mogadorians. John continues to do his best to stay away from the Mogadorians. Never being on one place too long, the book begins with John going to Ohio and to a place called Paradise. John soon befriends a young boy from his high school named Sam. Sam often finds himself being bullied by Mark James, the local football jock, the typical popular kid in the high school. John also befriends a young girl named Sarah Hart. Sarah Hart is a photographer. Sarah almost gets John exposed by taking pictures of him, possibly revealing himself to the Mogadorians. John also gets a dog who we later find out is a protector of John. John and Sam get bullied by Mark James. John on many occasions stepped up to protect his friend Sam. On one occasion, John takes Sarah out to a Halloween festival. Now the issue arises because Sarah and Mark used to actually date, and so Mark doesn't like when John is seeing Sarah. So they get into a big fight, but John has powers, which is an interesting part of this book. You see, John is an extraterrestrial who has abilities called legacies, and legacies are powers. Now John is one of 10 children from the planet Lorien. John has unique abilities as all of the children of Lorien. John has an ability called the Lumen, which allows him to shoot beams of heat and energy out of his hands. John is part of something called the Guard. The Guard are a special group of individuals on Lorien that inherit special abilities from their family. John also has increased speed, stamina, agility, the works, It's kind of like Superman, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy this book. I really like how John takes a moment to discover how his abilities work. Very similar to how Superman also took time to learn how his abilities work. John and Mark get into a fight. It's actually several people who actually jumped John, but John was actually easily able to take down all the people that was jumping on him with his powers. Meanwhile, the Mogadorians are still tracking John, as well as one of his fellow children of Lorien, number 6. Number 6 eventually catches up with number 4. They both have powers, and number 6 have abilities of her own, the mastery of elements. This is a really good book, and I'd recommend everyone to go check it out. People with powers are great. I like how this book really shows how if you had abilities, you would be able to do magnificent things, and it really expands a child's mind. Next, we're going to talk about my definition of children's literature. Children's literature are books written for children, I believe, age 6 to 13, because you have to be able to understand what you're reading. They are easy to understand and read. Children's literature books are. They should have lessons to teach and inform the reader more about life. Children's literature are an important part of society because they allow a child to understand more about the world that they live in. I think children's literature can help better adults and children cope with the challenges of life. Children's literature have a great way of expressing themes that children might not be able to see in everyday life. I think this is a great children's literature book because it really expands a child's mind and allows them to read a great fictional body of work. The author of this book is Pittacus Lore, the creator of the series. His name is not actually Pittacus Lore, it's James Frey, and he uses this as a pen name. A pen name is something that some authors use to create a collection of books, kind of like a vigilante name. Pretty cool. James Frey was born on September 12, 1969 in Cleveland, Ohio, and is a very successful author who wrote the Lorien Legacies, which is what the entire I Am Number 4 series is about. I chose this book because I really like the powers presented in this book. I really like the Lorien Legacies. I like how there's more than one person with powers, something that aren't found in many books. I hope to see more books with people with interesting abilities and powers to open and expand the minds of children. My favorite ability that John has is telekinetic abilities, which is the ability to move things with his mind. I think this book should be taught by children. I think it teaches good lessons, especially about lying, which is what the book is really founded on. There's a lot of lying going on, and our hero, John Smith, must pay for his lying, and it catches up with him at the end. But it also teaches children about things like extraterrestrials and the existence of other life on other planets. It also shows that it's the possibility that they're actually already among us. Even though this book is considered fictional, I think that everything is possible, and so the Lorien Legacies could be possible. All in all, this is a great children's literature book that teaches great lessons about love, juggling high school life, lying, friends, powers, extraterrestrials, and did I mention love? Yeah. Thank you for listening, guys, and go check out the Lorien Legacies and claim your powers today.